Hey everyone, it's been 4 months since my first gear check video. Some people have been asking for another one, and I thought the most natural time to do another one was after my Genesis weapon liberation. In the last 4 months, I believe there were 2 510-15 events, one 30% event, and one Shiny Star Force event, which is a 30% combined with a 510-15. Most of my gains were made on that Shiny Star Force event, and I'll go over them soon. Since Demon Avengers has become quite popular after the Destiny patch, the DA community has been bombarded by a lot of questions regarding the class and some progression tips. So I'm going to use this video to answer some commonly asked questions. If you want to skip the gear check and go straight to the questions and the answers, I'll provide a timestamp in the video description. Note that I have zero video editing skills and I'm terrible at making good videos, so I will really just be talking, showing the questions and talking about it with some commentary. Okay, so here are the gear changes. First, Superior Golix Ring. Last time it was 21 star 2-line drop. Drop with 2-line HP, but now it's 22 star 3-line. Did this during Shiny Star Force. Used a fodder to get this to 22 star before potting it. Guardian Angel Ring, no change. This is probably one of my biggest mistakes of gearing, because when I got this ring and 21 started, I used fodder rings to get this to 20 star, and then I stopped at 21. However, I don't think I should have stopped at 21. I should have gone for 22. One of the reasons why you want to go for 21 star in the first place is because you want to be efficient with your money and make as many gains as possible to reach your next goal of bosses. But when I got this ring, I was already clearing Black Mage, so there was really no reason for me to settle anymore, and I should have gone for 22. Now that I have a 3-line HP with double prime, it's really hard for me to fodder again for 22. I'd have to basically keep setting this to 22 and hope that it doesn't boom. Okay, Reinforced Golix Ring. Last time it was 21 star 3-line, now it's 22 star. It was during Shiny Star Force. This Endless Terror, last time was 18 stars, now it's 19. I still don't have a backup for this ring, and the reason why I didn't go 21 or 22 is because during Shiny Star Force, when I tapped this, I didn't have any backup fodder rings. So if I boomed this, there's actually no way for me to, I wouldn't even have a 4th ring, essentially. It would have been an event ring or something like that. And 19 star Endless Terror is very similar to a 22 star, Kana's Treasure or a Meister ring. So I decided to keep it at 19 for now. Maybe until the next event, I'll try to 21 or 22 it. Okay, this book is the same as before. This pendant, last time it was 18 stars, 2-line HP. Now it's 22 star 3-line. It took me about 4 fodders to get this to 4 attempts to get this to 22 star on a fodder, and when I got it to 22, I 3-lined it. The Stomp Pendant is the same. I'm literally just waiting for a Source of Suffering. In fact, I've been waiting for quite a while now. I have a 22 star Superior Golix Pendant waiting in my inventory to fodder when I get the source. I'm gonna go 22 on my source, so if it booms, I'll just keep making fodders with all the Dom Pendants I have. But yeah, just waiting right now. No point of getting this to 22. It's not best in slot anymore for me. Okay, this is the main star of the show, the Genesis Desperado. I just got this yesterday. It used to be an arcane weapon at 18 stars. Now it's 22 star Genesis Desperado. It was 35% boss damage with 10% attack before. Now it's 3-line attack, tier 6, 8 attack power, tier 5 boss damage, tier 3 HP. The HP doesn't matter too much. Has a 3% attack soul. I will be slowly black cubing this until I can get a better flame. Be it tier 7 attack or tier 6 attack with more percent damage. It's very nice. Okay, this is the Superior Belt. It's 3-9 HP, 21 star. I have a bunch of backups and a bunch of coins that I don't need too much anymore. So next time there's an event, I'm probably going to tap this to 22, and if it booms, I'm gonna keep trying. Okay, one of the biggest changes, I used to have an arcane hat at 18 stars. Now it's a 22 star CRA hat. In my last video, I had this arcane hat, and I explained the reason why I have it is if you look at the Arcane Umbra set 6 side effect, you can see the 30% HP, which is stat for us. So you might wonder why I changed back to the CRA hat. One is because it's easier to 22 star, but the most important reason is because Genesis weapon is a lucky item. And what that means is it can be part of any set in which a weapon exists and it has at least a 3 set effect for it. So right now, if you look at the top right of this item description, it's both part of the Root Abyss set, which is a CRA set, and the Arcane Umbra set. So it is right now giving me the 10% boss damage boost from the Arcane set and the 30% boost from the CRA set, which makes the CRA hat much, much better than before, because if I was still using an Arcane hat, I would not be getting that 30% boss damage. Okay, this is at minus 2 second cooldown and 2 line HP for the pot. I'm pretty happy with this pot. I personally like minus 2 second cooldown. It helps me with mobbing, and it's not bad in bossing either. There's going to be a patch around half a year down the line where cooldown's going to start affecting your hyper skills, which means this skill, 1000 Swords, it can be decreased by cooldown as well, which makes mobbing even better. Okay, the Sweetwater Tattoo, same as before, 21 star 3 line. Sweetwater Monocle, also 21 star with 2 line. I've boomed 2 eye patches so far. I'm not touching these 2 pieces of gear and keeping it at 21 because I'm just waiting for pitch boss pieces. 22 star CRA armor, same as last time. Armor is the most expensive piece to 3 line. I'm not gonna bother, especially with the new Eternal set coming out, which I should be able to get, sometime early next year, hopefully. And I don't really think I need that extra 9% HP to do Kalos. I don't think that will make the difference, so I'm gonna keep this at 2 line. Same with this pants, 22 star 2 line. Second most expensive piece to 3 line. Not gonna bother. Maybe I'll do it during Q sale, these 2 pieces, but I highly doubt it. Okay, next are the big changes, my Arcane Umbra pieces. This shoe was at 19 star 2 line double prime before. Now it's at 21 star 3 line. I'm gonna keep my Arcanes at 21 star this time around because I didn't have enough money during Shiny Star Force, or enough money to comfortably 22 star my Arcane Umbra pieces. So the next time Shiny Star Force comes around, which is probably in early January of next year, I'm gonna go for 22 star if I have enough money by then. Okay, this Superior Gauntlet earrings was 21 star, Meso and 2 line HP before. I made a second earring and basically just boosted it all the way to 22 star with a few booms because I had a bunch of sub earrings lying around from years of doing Gulliks. 22 star 3 line, my Meso gear, my Meso earring's still here. It's really just my Meso gear now for when I'm grinding. Arcane Umbra shoulder, I believe it was 17 stars before. It is now 21 3 line. Arcane Umbra gloves was 17 before, now it's 21 star. Double crit damage, the pot didn't change at all. This is a Loroid, same as before. Emblem, 3 line attack, same as before. I'm gonna start Saren soon. Hopefully I can get a Mitras Rage, and I'll 3 line that when that comes around. Badge, I'm in Genesis badge waiting room. I'm probably going to shrink down the Black Mage party size now that I'm liberated, so that I have a better chance of getting a Genesis badge. This medal is the same as before. Rune Force Shield, same as before. 3 line attack. Yeah, I have 9 lines of attack now on my WSE, so basically it's as optimal as it gets. This cape, I believe, was 17 or 19 stars before. It is now 21 stars, 3 line, and this heart is the same as before, 15 stars, 3 line HP. Yeah, so my next goals in gearing, getting this to 22, getting this to 22, and outside of that, getting this to 21. And if it booms, I have hopefully enough spare Meister rings or Conna's treasures to be able to 22 star, so that if this booms, I can at least have another 22 star ring as a backup. These 3 slots are waiting for pitch boss pieces, so I'm not going to bother with them. And every single pitch boss piece, I'm going to go 22 or boom. Maybe except the Endless Terror, because a 21 or even a 20 star Endless Terror is already better than a 22 star Meister, so really no point of going 22 except for completionist purposes, but I don't care too much about that. I'll probably leave it at 21. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the gearing check. And we're going to now go to the commonly asked questions. Okay, so for the commonly asked questions, I've listed a bunch of questions, and I've kind of ordered them from the most early game to progression to mid-game progression, as early to mid-game players are generally the ones asking these questions, either for bossing mules or starting a new main. Okay, so the first question is, which skill do you use to mob? Okay, Lunar Exceed Lunar Slash is our main mobbing skill from 3rd job onwards. You use this forever. It is a 3rd job skill. It kind of sucks, but it does get a huge boost at 4th job. If you look at the passive effect here in Nether Shield. In 5th job, turn on your Demonic Frenzy at all times, basically when you're mobbing, and cast Nether Shields as often as you can. Once they do a decent amount of damage, just flash jump around and just Lunar Slash. Next question, do we need to level strength to wear warrior gear? As you know, as most warriors know, there is a strength requirement to wear gear. It's really not a problem for any warrior at this point, except even Avengers. It's possible that we don't have enough strength, but it doesn't matter. We have this skill called Blood Pact, and Blood Pact converts our HP to attack power. It also lets you ignore Warrior and Demon Avenger equipment stat requirements, and so you don't need strength to level strength at all. Note that this skill also cuts all sources of HP we get from items and skills by half, which is why potting for 3-line HP in the early mid game is seriously not worth it. Don't do it. Okay, next question, is Star Forcing important on Demon Avengers? I noticed Star Forcing gear doesn't really give HP. That is somewhat true. If you look at, it doesn't actually give that much HP when you Star Force gear relative to other stats. But it doesn't mean that Star Forcing isn't important. In fact, it is extremely important. We have this skill called Star Force Conversion, and it basically converts every single star we are equipped to attack or to stat, basically to HP. Nexon changed it around a year ago, such that the more stars you have, the more HP you get from each star. So for the end game, having 22 star everything on Demon Avengers is probably more important than any other class, because the amount of stat we're getting from raw stat we're getting from our gear is more than any other class. Also, we don't get percent stat on flames, so having more raw stat, especially from Star Force conversion, is very important. Okay, next question, is strength good on DAs? No, it's not. It's kind of like a secondary stat, but not really. Strength kind of scales for us worse than secondary stat does for other classes, so basically don't go for strength at all on a Demon Avenger. How do we calculate stat? Well, there is no one right answer. It depends on what stage of the game you're at. All HP or stat really does is converts it to attack. In the Reboot late game, it's generally about one stat is equivalent to 22.5 HP or one stat to 25 HP. It just depends on how endgame you are. There's no general consensus. So for example, I'm at 1.26 million HP, and that's about 56k stat if you use the 1 to 22.5 HP conversion. A lot of people have also questions on, do we get capped out at 500k HP? And if you just saw what I did, we do not. Our visual HP is 500k capped, but our actual HP for damage calculation purposes is, it can be pretty much as high as it goes, as high as you want. Okay, next question. How can I disable gliding? Is it useful at all? Okay, gliding is a demon specialty. As you can see, I can glide here. I can up jump and then glide. I can flash jump and glide. Some people don't like it because they're not used to it. And if you don't like it, you can right click this skill, Dark Winds. And once you click it, you can just jump regularly like a flash jump. And you won't have the glide ability anymore. However, I would say that gliding is very useful, especially for bossing, because you can stay in the air and avoid boss attacks that are, usually horizontal. And this allows you to do a lot of really neat tricks and stuff that other classes can't do because they don't have this ability. Okay, next question. Are percent healing lines any good on Demon Avengers? So when I say percent healing lines, I'm referring to something like this. If you look at the third line of this necklace, it says HP recovery items and skills plus 30%. No, it's not good. DAs have a lot of built-in life skill with our skills. So healing is not our problem. Our problem is that we are heal locked all the time from a skill called Demonic Frenzy. And so when you're heal locked, you can't really heal. So extra percent healing is not going to help you heal. Okay, next question. What are our best in slot items? Our best in slot items are basically the same as other classes. The only difference is we don't really need to transpose Dom Pendants. It's not really technically a best in slot because Source of Suffering is, but for most players, for most phases of the game, Sweetwater Pendant is the best item, being transposed from a Dom Pendant. However, we just use a Dom Pendant, and the reason is because if you look at the Dom Pendant, there's a 10% innate HP it gives you, which beats out any transposed Sweetwater Pendant, basically. Also, we have this neat little thing where 160 gear and above, it doesn't give us 13 and 10% stat, it gives us 12 and 9 still, so we don't actually get that 3% stat from a Sweetwater Pendant, which makes it even worse. So Dom Pendant is the way to go until you get a Source of Suffering. Okay, next question. What are node prios for Demon Avengers, and what are the best try nodes for mobbing and bossing? So for mobbing, the 3 skills you need, or the 2 skills you need, are Lunar Slash and Thousand Swords. The third one can be whatever you want. I guess if you really want to optimize, it can be Demonic Strike. However, it's really not needed. Basically ever. It's just for, I guess, you do use this skill a lot, sometimes to move around, especially in bosses. So it'd be nice to boost it, but it doesn't really matter. For bossing, however, there is a perfect try node. It is Execution, Nether Shield, and Inferno Exceed. We only need 2 sets of nodes. We only need 5 skills, so one of them has some freedom. It's not that hard to do nodes for Demon Avengers. Okay, follow-up question. What are our 5th job skills, and what is the leveling priority for them? So this varies a little bit, person to person, but one thing that all DAs can agree upon is Demonic Frenzy is our most important skill. This is our bread and butter. This is what makes Demon Avengers Demon Avengers. So you should definitely max this first. The next, followed by Dimensional Swords, Revenant, Demonic Blast, Otherworld Goddess's Blessing, Weapon Aura, and lastly, Defender of the Demon. I didn't mention any decents, but in terms of decent priority, Decent Sharp Eyes is the most important one. I don't have it here because I have Decent Sharp Eyes skill on my glove. I got pretty lucky here. So that's a must. Decent Hyper Body is also really, really good. You should probably slot it in somewhere earlier on. And Decent Combat Orders, Decent Advanced Blessing are much lower in priority. You can slot it in last, or around the same priority as Defender of the Demon. Doesn't matter too much at that point. Okay, next question, and probably the question I hear the most from not just Demon Avenger, aspiring Demon Avenger mains, but also from a lot of other players on other classes. I keep hearing this 29 frenzy, 30 frenzy thing being mentioned. What does it mean? So now we're going to talk about demonic frenzy. Let's read the skill first. So it consumes 6,000 HP per second. It's an aura. Basically, like if I cast it, you'll see this little pool puddle around you, and then you can press it again to turn it off. When you have it on, it consumes 6,000 HP per second. You are heal locked, and every single tick of damage that you do can heal you only for 1% of your max HP. During this mode, I guess like when you have frenzy on, you take 30% less damage, and also you get 1% final damage for every 2% HP that you have lost, up to 35% final damage when you have lost 70% max HP. So basically, if you are at 150k HP, 30% HP, you will have an extra 35% final damage. The tick of the frenzy does damage around you, and it does very good damage actually. So the reason why I have it at level 29 here is because level 29 heals you for 1% of your max HP, but if you look at the next level, level 30, it heals you for 2% of your max HP. This is one of the only skills that I know of where the skill has one set of effects from levels 1 to 29, and the effect changes only at level 30. I think it's the only skill that I'm aware of that has this, but 2% from 1% might not sound like a lot, but it effectively doubles our healing. All Demon Avenger skills cost HP to use, so when you only have 1% healing per attack, you will slowly whittle down to 30% HP until you can't whittle down anymore and you get your lifesteal back. So you're slowly dying essentially. But when you have level 30 frenzy, 2% max HP will basically let you stay around max HP most of the time, as long as you're not getting hit by like one-shot abilities or something like that. But the dilemma here is that if you're at full HP, you're not getting that final damage boost. In order to get the 35% final damage, you have to be low. So this is why Demon Avenger has an extremely high maximum theoretical damage, but it's really hard to reach because you have to be low all the time, and you are heal locked, so you can't really pot. So this is what people are talking about when they're talking about 29 frenzy or 30 frenzy. They're essentially talking about two modes, like a survivability mode, which is like level 30 frenzy because you'll be full, you'll be max HP all the time, and you have that minus 30% damage reduction, which makes you actually quite tanky, but you don't do as much damage because you're full. You don't get that final damage boost. Versus like the other mode, which is 29 frenzy, which is this high risk high reward mode, because you will be low all the time. You'll be heal locked, but you're doing an extra 35% damage, which in a late game 35%, actually 35% is a lot regardless. So when DAs are talking about doing a boss with 29 or 30, hopefully now you have a better idea of what they mean. If a DA is doing it on 29 frenzy, it basically means they're going full ham, and they're trying to not get hit by any ability, because if they even got hit by one or two abilities, they would die. Okay, next question. What are our best in slot inner abilities? Our best in slot inner abilities, legendary line is +1 attack speed, and then the second, third line, unique, 10% chance to skip cooldown and 20% crit. Notice I only have 9% here, missing 1%. I don't care too much about it. This is pretty much as good as it gets. If you're a bossing mule, you don't need the +1 attack speed that much. If you get 20% boss, 20% CD skip, those are all very good lines, and you should probably keep it and just work with some other things over here, like attack or like percent damage to abnormal status monsters. Next question is Oz ring, the durability ring, any good? No, I don't have a durability ring, so I can't really show you. But what the durability ring does is it doubles your HP. At least that's what what the ring says, but it doesn't actually double your HP. It just gives you 100% HP. It's kind of like how drop coupons. It says it doubles your drop rate, or like 2 times drop rate, but it really just gives you 100% drop rate. But you know, the later in the game you go, the more percent HP you're gonna have. So 100% bonus HP doesn't actually do that much. It's a whole lot worse than 100% attack like ROR4. So don't bother with this ring. If you want to do Oz, go for weapon jump strength 4 or ring of restraint 4. Okay, next question and the last question. What is a Ruin Force shield, and is it worth using? So a Ruin Force shield is a shield that only demons can use. It's a secondary slot item, and it basically increases your final damage by 10%, but you take 25% more damage from all sources, including percentage HP attacks. If you combine this with level 29 Frenzy, the high risk, high reward mode, it makes you incredibly squishy. You're probably the most fragile, squishiest character in the game. You basically cannot get hit by any abilities in a boss, or you will die, because you will be at 30% HP or lower the entire time, while taking 25% extra damage from all sources. This is our maximum damage potential, and if you're maining a Demon Avenger and you get this shield, you should definitely use it. It might hurt a lot at first. It will take a long time to get used to taking 25% extra damage, and you might learn bosses slower than some of your friends or some of your guild members, but all it matters is that you keep practicing, and when you practice enough, you'll get used to it. Think of this shield as giving you an excuse to learn every single boss mechanic inside out, because you will kind of need to avoid all the attacks, to not die while using this shield. If you're a bossy mule DA, however, I would say that there are a lot of other ways to get 10% final damage. 10% final damage is a lot of damage in the end game, but in the early game or mid game, there are a lot of ways to get that. So if you don't want the hassle of learning how to do hard bosses with a class that you don't plan on maining, that's totally understandable. You can use this shield, you can anvil it to flex all the other demons who don't have this and are like level 275 or something. I would still recommend giving this shield a try to see if you like it, if it's too much. But yeah, it's entirely up to you. Okay, so those are all the questions I have. I definitely have missed some commonly asked questions. If you have any more questions, feel free to drop it in the comments. I will try my best to provide timestamps for the questions, and I will also try my best to answer questions in the comments. If there are too many of them, I might make a follow-up video just explaining more things. Keep in mind that this is not a general progression video for every single class. There are other YouTubers who do that. This is only for Demon Avengers specifically. Yeah, thanks for watching my video and have a great day.